No, that's not what that was. I talked to the wind. We just talked to the wind. Good morning, Willis.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Stray bullet and a mama cries. Baby won't be coming home tonight. Siren screaming down the avenue. Just another story on the evening news. Politics and prejudice. How the heck it ever come to this? When everybody's gotta pick a side. It don't matter if you're on the right, no. And so it goes. But I hold on to hope that I won't let go. 'Cause I believe that you and me are sisters and brothers. And I believe we're made to be here for each other. And we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. But a world that seems broken together again. Yes, I believe in the end, love wins. Sometimes it takes a lot of faith to keep believing there will come a day when the tears and the sadness, the pain and the hate, the struggle, this madness will all fade away. Yes, I believe that you and me are sisters and brothers. And I believe we're made to be here for each other. And we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. But a world that seems broken together again. Yes, I believe in the end, love wins. Yeah. You see, love is power, love is a smile, love reaches out, and love is the remedy, love is the answer, love's an open door, love is the only thing worth fighting for. Yes, I believe that you and me are sisters and brothers. And I believe we're made to be here for each other. And we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. But a world that seems broken together again. Yes, I believe in the end, love wins. Yes, said love wins. Oh, said love wins. Yeah.
Love wins. Good morning, Henry Church of Avalon Park. Here we go.
All right, everybody join in with me. This is the Spirit of God is upon me.
The Spirit of God is upon me. The Spirit of God is upon me. Say, the Spirit of God is upon me. Yes, the Spirit of God
could. But now I love 'cause I want to. I love 'cause I'm free. Blinded by the Spirit. Oh Lord, yes, the Spirit of
God is upon me.
Let's sing.
Oh,
Say it.
the Spirit of God is upon me.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Every day the
the Spirit of God is upon me.
Say it again.
Oh,
Yes,
the Spirit of God is upon me.
yes.
Oh,
Saying
the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh,
you see, I don't need any party. I don't need any law. I want to sing with my whole heart that God is my all in all. I let go of my burden. Loving God made me free. Blinded by the Spirit. Oh Lord, saying the
Spirit of God is upon me.
Let's sing.
Oh,
Oh yes,
the Spirit of God is upon me.
yes it is.
Oh,
Saying
the Spirit of God is upon
every
me.
day, yes,
Oh,
yes,
the Spirit of God is upon me.
yes it is.
Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh,
You see, I thought it was my duty. I thought it was my job. Somewhere I believed that loving God would be so hard. But loving God is wonderful. Loving God is ecstasy. Thank God for my freedom. Let me tell you that the Spirit of
God is upon me.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
the Spirit of God is upon
Every
me.
day of my life. Yes,
Oh,
it is.
the Spirit of God is upon me.
Say it.
Oh,
Sing it.
the Spirit of God is upon me.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Saying
the Spirit of God is upon me.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta pour yourself in me.
Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour yourself in me.
Pour yourself into my heart.
Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa,
Wonderful Spirit.
wonderful Spirit.
Pour your love in me.
Pour your love in me.
Yes.
Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Pour your love in me.
Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Pour your life in me.
Pour your life in me. Pour your life into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Pour your life in me.
Pour your life in me.
Pour your life.
Pour your life into my heart.
Whoa.
Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Pour yourself in me.
Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Pour yourself in me.
Pour yourself in me.
Pour yourself into my
Pour
heart.
yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Amen. Amen.
Oh yeah.
Pour yourself in me, wonderful Spirit. Good morning, Unity Church of Overland Park. I'm Reverend Jacquie Fernandez, and it is my deep privilege to serve you as your senior minister.
And I'm your Associate Minister, Reverend Eileen Stula. It's good to see all of you this morning. No audio? Okay, we'll just pause for a moment here until I come up in a louder voice. How we doing, Rick? I'm on. Can you hear me now? There it
we
is.
go.
There it is.
What's your name?
Eileen Stulak, Associate Minister. Good to see everybody.
You know, I can see that you have allowed Spirit to pour itself in you. Would
Funny
you mind?
story, interesting story. I needed some brown shoes. So I went to the store. And when I got home and unpacked my bag, I found I had bought me some Kansas City Sunday morning going to church football shoes.
Right up here. Put it up there so they can see. Put your foot up here.
All right, I don't want to knock the, there we go.
There we go. Now we can see it, yeah.
And the thing is, I still need some brown shoes.
You still
Didn't
need
find
some
the brown shoes.
I mean, that happens when you go shoe shopping,
It
right?
does.
You go
It
in for one thing, you
does.
come out with many others.
Well, I had to get on board. Yeah, I mean, your red
I mean,
shoes are, you know.
I thought maybe it was going to be early in the season for these, but when you told me what was happening, I was
you
like, well,
know.
let's bring, and we brought in the win.
That's right, gotta break
Okay.
them in like preseason.
All right, here we
you know?
go, here we go.
All right.
Let's center in prayer on this beautiful morning, bringing into this moment that one and holy sacred presence in the universe, God, the source of all good. God, the source of self, of love, of expression, the source of all that you are, all that you have been, and all that you will ever be. So it is with gratitude we receive the gift in this morning as we unite our hearts for the purpose of peace, of wisdom, harmony, love. As our hearts bond in this collective intention, we are reminded of what is always true. We are one. We are the light, and we are the expression of God.
As the expression of God, we know our place in this world is light. So let's sing it. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we do know there is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God, the source of all good. I got it in.
Hey, strong work, Reverend Fred. Good job. So, good morning, everybody. It's a great Sunday morning. We're so glad that you're here with us. And let's kind of give a little shout out. So we've got our music team. So Reverend Fred Albers. A great big welcome back to Willis White. Thank you so much. So glad you're here. All that great energy. You're like stomping it up here on the stage. It's great. James Albright, Terry Swope, Andy Hambleton. Big shout out to Stacy Storm. Thank you so much. Great to have you here with us. Of course, great big thanks to Reverend Eileen and Reverend Jacquie. And Reverend Jackie's talk today will be God Rested. God rested. And let's just give a huge, great big thank you and shout out to Tamie, because Tammie's been here for, is this 6 weeks, I guess, in a row, sharing her story and weaving it in with the creation story, and just sharing from your heart and at depth, and the vulnerability that takes, and the commitment to be here on the stage week after week. And we really genuinely appreciate all that you've shared and the ways that we can take that in to our own stories and expand our own creation stories. So thank you so much for that today, or this past few weeks.
Thanks. Before we start, we have a few announcements for you. First, a reminder that our Folks with Faith Affinity Group will meet this coming Saturday, August 27th, right here at the Plex Pod. And that gathering begins at 10:30 in the morning, and everyone is welcome.
All right. So we also have our sweet Dwight Briggs, and his Celebration of Life service is on Saturday. So a week from yesterday, Saturday, August 27th. It's at 1:30 in the afternoon at Unity Temple on the Plaza in the Charles Fillmore Chapel. And after that, there will be, I need to read this part. So after that, there will be a reception at the Village Cooperative located at 12830 Johnson Drive in Shawnee, Kansas. Parking is limited at the cooperative, so if you're planning on attending that, you might consider carpooling with somebody else. Of course, you don't have to do that, but just know that parking is a little bit limited.
Okay, and please plan on joining us next Sunday as we welcome guest speaker Stephanie Barton. And then, following Thursday, September 1st, she will present her signature gallery event, Angels Among Us, at 6:30 p.m., and the event will be held in the soundstage, which is, for those that I'd had to find out where it was. What is the soundstage? But anyway, if you go right past the raised right table and go through that door, and then another door, there's a big room back there. That's the soundstage. And it will be held there. And during that time, Stephanie will connect audience members with loved ones on the other side, an experience where we can find peace, gain hope, and witness love as heaven speaks. Tickets are $20 at the door. And now we have a special announcement from Reverend Jacquie.
As those of you who have been coming here for a very long time, you know football season also means fall faith season. So we are nearing our time where we will kick off our fall faith book study. And this year's book, drum roll please, is The Mastery of Life by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. This is his newest book. So you may have heard of The Mastery of Love or Mastery of Self. This is Mastery of Life. And the subtitle is A Toltec Guide to Personal Freedom. So we know is that this community is really interested in world religions, and we're gonna get a deep taste of the Toltec tradition. And also, this is so unity friendly. If you lifted that piece off of it, you would think you might be reading Butterworth or Fillmore, except not as heady as Fillmore. So it's a really easy read, which is a great way to reintroduce ourselves to some of our foundational teachings. It's a great time to also plan to invite friends, because not only is it our Sunday series, but we will be having our small group gatherings as well. So some groups will meet online, some will meet in homes of the facilitators, some might even meet here. here at PlexPod. So for 7 weeks, kicking off October 2nd, stay tuned for the opportunity to sign up for small groups, and we will have books for sale. All right, here we go.
Okay, so can everybody join me, please, as we speak together the joint vision statement for the Unity Movement? A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
So this is the time in our service where we take a moment or two to bless all of the prayer requests that have been sent to us by various means and forms. And so to get us grounded in that time of prayer, our prayer chaplains are going to come join us. Any of the prayer chaplains are welcome to come forward. And in tomorrow's Daily Word, it is all about praying for others. Praying for others. And there are two little phrases in there that I thought I would offer to just ground us in this time of prayerful blessing. And so let's take that moment to just turn within, to allow ourselves to make that heartfelt connection with Spirit's presence in us, a presence that is in everyone and everything around us as well. And in tomorrow's Daily Word, we will read that my words are seeds. I plant prayerful blessings. So that's what we do now. I invite us all to just listen into our own hearts as we think of what kind of seed or seeds that we wish to plant right now as prayerful blessings for all those who have come to us with the desires of their hearts and asked us to surround them in prayer. And if you'd like to, if you just want to gently whisper whatever word you wish to add into this prayerful time, feel free to do so. They might be a seed of love or prosperity, hope, faith, healing, gratitude, celebration. When we speak them aloud, we give them the power of the spoken word. And so knowing now that these words spoken or held in our hearts are now on their way to touch the hearts of all those who have asked for prayer, we let them go. We freely let them find their way into the hearts of those who are now awaiting that movement of God in them, to let them know at great depth that they are not alone, that their prayers have been heard, and the universe now responds. And for all of these blessings, all of these spiritual truths, we are indeed grateful. And so it is. Amen.
I did it. Faced my fears and made it. Took the leap of faith and landed on my feet. I can't believe it. I really made it. Straight from the heart of me. And I have never felt so good in my life, never been so sure that I'm alright, never stood so tall about what I've done. And the best part is I've just begun. I did it, I did, center of my target, aimed as high as I could aim, and now I'm taking home the gold. I can't believe it, I really made it, greatest day that I've ever known. And I have never felt so good In my life, never been so sure that I'm alright. Never stood so tall about what I've done. And the best part is I've just begun. Just begun to live, just begun to climb, just begun to see how high I'll fly. Never looking back, tell me why should I, when it feels like the beginning of my life. I have never felt so good, never been so sure, never stood so tall, and the best part is I've just begun. Never felt so good in my life. I've never been so sure that I'm alright. Never stood so tall about what I've done. And the best part is I've just begun. I've just begun.
Oh yeah, he got us started up, didn't he? Thank you, Willis White and Reverend Fred Albers and the band. What a way to dive into our final Sunday of the series. So it's 7 days of creation, but you remember we had Rock and Roll Sunday, and then, so we kind of combined days 1 and day 2. So it's really been a 6-week series covering 7 weeks of material, but who's counting? So there's a Unity minister in the room that I want to acknowledge, Reverend Jennifer Hutchins, who is the founder of the Unity Arts Ministry. And so, yes, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you for joining in. We are kindred spirits, kindred souls, and so it's always a joy to see you, except when a minister comes and you aren't expecting him. Sometimes you have to do a quick rewrite of your sermon. So what I know about Jennifer is that she loves Eric Butterworth probably as much as I do, and especially because of his work on the creative process, which is what I've drawn a lot of this material for, but I have to now confess that I deviate in one very key area from his teaching, and Jennifer would know that, but y'all didn't know. But so now I have a little confession time. And it's kind of fun because I've been debating whether I should even bring this up or not. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to bring it up before we finish. So we didn't have the experience of completing it and then finding out that I'm a rebel. Because that's news, right? Thank you, Pam. So in Eric Butterworth's teaching, which is founded on Fillmore's teaching, the creative process in the Bible, there are two Genesis stories of creation. And they're not exactly the same, which is what upsets a lot of people, that the Bible is contradictory. To make matters more complicated, the second story in Genesis 2 is actually older than the first story in Genesis 1. So you see why I didn't want to bring it up? So in the Fillmore and Butterworth teachings, the first story, which is the second, but the first story, as you read it in Genesis 1, is all an inner process. Nothing is yet in expression. Now, if you've been here for the series, and I see we have a few first-time visitors, but that's okay. The rest of it you'll be right on board with. But if you've been here, be like, wait a minute. I thought it was back on day 3 when the waters were gathered here and the dry land emerged, that was the beginning of coming into expression. Yes, because that's how I taught it. So in the Fillmorian and Butterworth teachings, the entire first story of 7 days is in the inner realm. The second story is when everything comes into expression. But I didn't want to spend 14 weeks doing 7 days, explaining the differences. And also, I think, because then you have to get into which story came first, and so was it meant to be in this order? Was it meant to? Then we remind ourselves, these are poems. This is poetry. So we don't have to be concerned with which came first, the planet or the human or the animal and the water. We don't have to worry about that. What we do is we invite ourselves into the energy of the poetry. And the way the poetry reads for me is that on that third day, things come into expression. And just as I've been teaching it, it really plays out in that way. So not only is it convenient for sermon planning to go with just 7 days from inner to outer realm, it also works theologically. It works with the scripture, and it works in my heart. And so I hope it also is working in yours. Confession complete. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all their multitude. And on the seventh day, God finished the work that had been done. And God rested on the seventh day from all the work that had been done. So God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because on it God rested from all the work that had been done in creation. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created. Okay, so think about how you have worked with the 7 days of creation story just in your life. Perhaps you first learned of it in Sunday school, perhaps in your home, in Kansas, perhaps at school. But how has it worked in your consciousness, just in terms of your imagination about the story itself? Let there be light, dark and formless, void, waters from waters, dry land appears, vegetation, birds, fish, people. Do you imagine this wizard-type God swirling over everything, and this and that and that and this, and ha 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 ha, and whoa, how about this? And after all the work had been done, I was worn out and took a nap. You notice I didn't offer a joke at the beginning of the service, and that's because naps are no joking matter. I take those very seriously. So on the day that God rested, you notice there are chairs up here. My wife Tamie and I are going to take a little nap. Lona brought some bright light to shine in us in case we start snoring, but we can sleep. Because vital to experiencing the mystery of life is the willingness and ability to rest. What happens in that resting space, you might think of it as the caterpillar, complete transformation into butterfly. That's in the resting space of the cocoon. What happens in the rest and the reflection is that we place ourselves in the vast expanse of the universe. It's a self-emptying of our own stories, our own assumptions, our own problems. When we are in rest and reflection, we empty ourselves. We empty ourselves, dark and formless, void. That's the place of chaos, which is the place of pure possibility and potentiality that is you, that is in you, that is waiting to be expressed through you and as you. Rest and reflection. It's a space of growth, of maturity. It's where an idea begins to take on its own life and live it. It becomes self-generating. This is the story of the heavens and the earth, of the generations. As above, so below. This is an important, critical part of the creative process, the creative genius that is you. And again, the process doesn't happen linearly. In the poem, it is described linearly, but it is cyclical. It kind of folds in and on top of itself. And you've already heard Tamie share about some times in the process of her journey to motherhood that there were periods of rest and reflection. So it's not that we wait till everything is done. We engage it every step of the way. And that's how we mature and evolve and grow through any experience, any sense of manifestation that we are creating in our life, any idea that we are bringing into fruition and experience. I'd like to invite Tamie up as we sit down and take a rest. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Mystery, diving into the mystery.
Yeah.
How does that land with you, the idea of rest and reflection being such a critical part of the process?
I was sitting there as you were talking, and I was looking at the screen where it says unleash your creative power. And as I was thinking about that 6 months, as I became clear about my path, as we've been talking about, for those that are new, I did fertility treatments, started to go to in vitro fertilization, and took 6 months off because that didn't feel like the right path. And in that 6 months, as you were talking, I was reflecting on a question I asked myself that was the turning point that helped me get so convicted in that path. And the question was this, because I believe when we ask questions, we engage or unleash our creative power. It's through the questions, the quality of that question. And this question didn't seem very good quality at the time because it scared me. And the question was, what if I turn my life over to God's plan for me? Whew. I'll tell you why that didn't seem like a great question to ask at the time, because I had to let go of my old ideas of who I was turning it over to, what that meant. Because I had these old ideas that if I turn it over, that means I'm going to live in suffering and sacrifice and without the things that I want, because that was my old idea of what it meant to turn it over. So I had to shift into what I believe, having been in unity since 2001, and said, no, what that means is this co-creative process. This doesn't leave me out of it. This doesn't take my desire out of it. Because God has my desire, I believe, in mind, but also knows the path that is actually the true path for me. And that's what happened. That, in reflection, that was the turning point in that 6 months.
That's powerful. You know, that willingness to let go, which has come up throughout the process, right? That non-attachment, the people who've been taking the class have experienced practicing non-attachment through playing with Play-Doh and then smashing immediately what you had just spent some time creating, or drawing and erasing, painting and painting over, with lots of different experiences and practicing of letting go to the outcome. Because when we let go of the outcome, we discover the true path and experiences, which is what you've shared with us.
Yes. Tiffany, would you bring my water up here, please? Thank you.
Restful pause.
Restful pause and water on the chair. What else, Rev?
That time of rest and reflection, bringing forth the self-emptying, the opportunity of letting go of that which we had been attached to, of the assumptions we make about the process, which is what you talked about, that you were wrestling with. What am I taking into this process in terms of assumptions, of old stories, of repeating the past, that all of those become our creative blocks. So when we feel blocked in expressing whatever idea or experience that we are trying to bring into fruition, it becomes an opportunity to just let go of the block. Because we tend to then grip the block and panic and then talk about the block and find new ways to hold on to the block, and we begin to strengthen its presence and its foundation and its hold. So we are holding on to it, it is holding on to us, and we've entirely blocked the flow. So when we release, Then just as you've described, a new path emerged, one that had previously been very scary to you, of going through the foster adoption program. And you've talked about the heart risk that entailed. But that became clear that it was your path. And the support that you needed to engage that path arrived, not meaning that it was easy at all, but you had what you needed as you traveled that path.
Yes, I did. It brings up an interesting thought, which is, you might have heard it before, God doesn't call the equipped. God equips the called, right? Have you experienced that before? That process that you were just talking about was the hardest thing I've ever done to date. But it was the most transformational for my human experience so far. It was, to me, not only the gift of Maddie Rose, but the gift of my own transformation. It equipped me to be a better mom, a better person, a better wife, a better coach, and to help others navigate and hopefully be an inspiration and a guide to others' paths. Because that's why I feel like I'm here. Maybe why you're here is to bring these teachings into practical application. I mean, that's the unity idea, to bring positive Christianity into a practical experience. It's, for me, I can feel like an imposter sometimes in my life. Or like I don't know what I'm doing when I say yes to something. But I want to keep in mind, and I invite all of us to keep in mind, that we don't have to know. We get to stay the course.
We get to stay the course. Yeah, we get to stay the course to the extent we allow ourselves to, right? To the extent we are willing, we maintain that willingness. And then what we have to know is when we are ready for that time of rest, when some stage of the process, perhaps the complete iteration, expression of the process, comes to its landing place, it's not the end of the story. We touched on that last week. And so even that resting space, that reflection space, becomes a new beginning of its own, a new moving forward. So your initial impetus for this journey was to become a mother. So the story doesn't end on adoption day. Then you're actually experiencing, you're in motherhood and all of what that entails.
All its
the good,
glory.
the bad, the ugly, all its glory. You're now in motherhood. And then it begins to evolve and become its own creative expression and process. So you're in a whole new phase, and I'm curious, as you've reflected from the perspective of this new phase to that specific period of time, if we put we drop the little pins right there, what that expression, or reflection has been for you.
What the reflection has been about what?
About that period of time of foster through adoption from the perspective of your motherhood journey where it is now.
I spoke to it a little bit. And that is that we're not going to know. I talk to a lot of parents, and I was talking to one the other day, and we were talking about how, and which she's a client of mine with young children, toddlers, and how we don't always get it right. There's no manual. I see a lot of heads nodding. And that each day, we stay with it. And we invite in ideas and guidance and support. And so I think about that process, and what I reflect on is that, and you mentioned it earlier, that I had new supports coming in each time. And I wasn't alone, even though I was single going through this process, not partnered at the time. I wasn't alone. I had friends that gave me all kinds of baby things. Hardly bought anything for her. And initially, a crib I was given, the car seat, as you know, all the things. They just came to me. And I think about that when I think about the principle of abundance that we live in. And that I was in that flow. And I had other supports. I had a motherhood tribe I actually created for support. I created that motherhood tribe of women that were mothers and grandmothers to support me while I was trying to get pregnant. And looking back, I wasn't alone, even though many times I felt that way because of the difficulty of it, but I wasn't. So looking back, that's the biggest piece.
It's beautiful. You know, as I'm hearing you talk, that voice of God that we have heard through the entire poem of let there be light, let, that voice of grace is what you just described. That as you stepped into that let, instead of trying to make something happen, instead of finding where you have to force and try, that you just allow the flow and you step into that flow and you let. Then as you said, your words, things started coming to you as part of the process. And don't we, you spoke to this as well, don't we, when we are in a new experience, a new iteration of self, don't we immediately go to that imposter syndrome? Don't we immediately not know who we are? Maybe perhaps where our grounding is, what our identity is, how it sits with us. That's part of the reflection opportunity, part of the rest, part of the maturing and growing and evolving during that rest time. It's an active rest time. And if you're tired, the most spiritual thing you can do is take a nap. And people say, oh, I like to meditate, but every time I meditate, I fall asleep. Good. You need rest. Let the body rest. Let the mind rest. And trust that in that resting comes the growth and the understanding and the wisdom and everything, every good gift and strength and talent that you need to move forward in the next creative process is coming to you. You don't have to make it. You don't have to force it. You don't have to demand it. Simply let, allow. Which means we allow the new identity to come. The new identity to bond to us. This is who I am as a person who. This is who I am as a person that.
Can we take a nap now?
Yeah, let's take a nap. Am I putting you to sleep?
But when you said rest, I just sank in my chair.
It is a melting. It is a certain melting in. Yeah.
So to date, right, it's come to adoption. And then that was in 2019 in the summer. And then COVID hits. And there's more restriction. I had been living 3 years of restriction. Not being able to take her where I wanted to take her. I needed permission to take her overnight in a different state. I needed special people to watch her while I could mow my yard, as we talked about before. And I was living in that restriction. I was so ready to live in this free life with her, what felt free to me, with all that restriction. And then COVID hits, and there's a different kind of restriction that we were living in, that you were living in, we were all living in. And so it felt like it wasn't stopping. For me, it was, I had to remind myself what I said earlier, stay the course and find the freedom within the restriction. Wow, I never said that before. Find the freedom within the restriction. That's what I did. That's what we did. Because I was really...
That's how we ended up on the paddle boards getting lost at sea.
It truly is, because we wanted paddle boards to go do something fun in the restriction. That was really what we could do. Yeah. Now I have no idea what I was...
Sorry.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Snakes, alligators.
Yeah, that's all I can think of is the Tulies. We don't know the path we're going to be led down. We don't know how long it's going to take. When we think we've arrived, sometimes has it felt like we've actually not arrived yet? There's still more to do. That's why we got to rest.
Yeah.
In the process, not until it's over, because we don't really know sometimes. She's 6 and we're still in COVID. It's not the same for me as far as the restriction, but it's because the question I ask is, how can I find, without realizing it, the freedom in the restriction?
That like really sums up the human experience, right? How we are finding that freedom of being the divine in expression within the restriction of this human body, this human mind, this physical realm that we are all living in. That really sums, that's brilliant. That really sums up the entire poem, the entire experience, because we were always pushing out of, lifting out of, releasing out of any perceived restrictions. We're always moving and shifting the context that we are in. We're always in that space of expression, of creation, of creating. We rest, and then we begin again. So today we receive the blessing of rest, of reflection, the growth and the wisdom that come from it, the energy and the inspiration that take us forward into our next journey, our next creative expression, our next expression of self. And so it is.
Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you for being here with us for this very sacred walk.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Tamie Rising.
Thank you, Jackie, and thank you, Tamie. I just want to show some gratitude for what you have led us through. And especially this time of talking about rest. As we prepare for meditation, there's an idea in A Course in Miracles that says, I place the future in the hands of God. I place the future in the hands of God. And this allows me to rest for this moment. In this instant, I can let go, knowing there is only love. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only
with a breath. We allow the eyes to close or we soften our gaze. We allow the presence of the breath to become the focus of our awareness. There is only love. There's only this breath, this life, this body, this mind, this heart, this collection of experiences we have gathered up as the poetry of our life. This moment. Breath. If your breath feels restricted in any way, bring your attention to the freedom within that restriction. And let the breath flow. If the mind doesn't want to settle into focus, simply notice the restriction, but find the freedom to think, the freedom to allow the thoughts to flow through just as they are. In, I see you. Out. Feel your body. Do you feel the flow of freedom and the restriction of a body temple? That freedom lives in the breath. It lives in the mind. It lives in the heart. And it lives in the body. It is the flow and the essence of spirit in us. That is the place of true liberation. It is the knowing before the known. And it is the unknowing. So we release any need in this moment, for need is born in lack. But we turn to the power of desire, that desire that comes from the presence of God in us, that desire that comes from the heart. Grace. We let. We let. Rest. Reflect.
as we reflect, we see love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
I would like to pull that thread of rest and reflection into this time, this time of giving, this time of financial offering to this community. And so I invite us to just kind of just move into that place of reflection and resting in this time of prosperity principles being put into action, reflecting upon the most basic way I know to describe prosperity, and that is to say that God is the source of all things good. We start there. And then as we reflect, what is ours to give? What is ours to share? We let go into that source. And we trust that it too will guide us every step of the way, bring to us all that we would ever need in order that we can continue to create and bring forth into being all of that potential and possibility that exists within the words of our mission. For isn't that why we are all here to begin with? Please join with me in blessing our offering together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am joy-filled and grateful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way around. Everyone falls down sometimes, but you gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Now some days you wake up and nothing works, you feel surrounded. Gotta give your feet some gravity to keep you grounded. Keep good things inside your ears like the waves and sound it. And just say whatever, cause there is no way around. Everyone falls down sometimes, but you gotta know it'll be just fine. It's okay, just say it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around the neighborhood. feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Say feeling good, like I should. I went and took a walk around the neighborhood. I'm feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Hey, it's okay, it's okay, just say it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. It's okay, just say it's okay, yeah, it's okay, yeah. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Thank you, Willis and Rev Fred and the UCOP Trio, yeah. Yoo-hoo. Okay, this month we are recognizing our volunteers who make up the Care of Van team. These individuals are currently providing transportation to and from our services for our beloved Cindy Spears, and also assisting other members of our community who may experience various mobility challenges. We are so grateful for their willingness to help those who wish to join us in person, and they do it with such love and joy. Please join with me in extending our appreciation to them. And before we close, a few quick notes. Reverend Jackie's class in support of today's service begins in the Idea Lab at 11:30. Also, refreshments and a time of connection await everyone in the cafe. So, you can also purchase gift cards in there for your shopping needs at the Raise Right table just outside the sanctuary door leading into the cafe.
Can everybody join with me in speaking our mission statement together? Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. And next week, please join us as our special guest, Stephanie Barton, joins us to offer her lesson titled ABC, Let Spirit Heal Me. So you won't want to miss that. And let's welcome in our children.
We are walking as the light, as the light, as the light. We are walking as the light of God. As the light, 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 as the light of God. We are walking as the light, as the light, as the light. We are walking as the light, as the love of God. As the love, 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 as the love of God.
Good morning, everybody. Here, Henry, if you want to come this way. So we had two new girls with us today. You want to wave? Just say hi. Yeah, and so we kept it pretty casual today. We went outside. It was so nice outside. We drew with some chalk, and we just drew things that made us really happy. Some affirmations are out there. So take a look at your feet while you're walking out today. And then other than that, we kept it chill. We had fun just creating and crafting. Like usual. There she is. Okay. And then I also wanted to introduce you guys to Henry, and they will tell you a bit more about themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Henry Beckett. My pronouns are they, them. And I am an ex-YOUer from UCOP a while ago. Jim and Tiffany Crabtree were my sponsors back then, and I'm here to support Josie and see if we can't get that YOU ball rolling again. I'd love that. It meant a lot to me when I was a teenager, and it was really a great support system, and I hate to hear that it's not a thing anymore, and if there's a way we can get that started again, I would love to do that. Thank you.
So if you have teenagers, bring them. And, you know, we always are wanting more kids in general. So, yeah, if you guys will all please stand and join us for our closing song.
I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection and what life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. I choose joy, I choose peace, I choose goodness surrounding me. I choose love in every breath I breathe. I choose God in everything. I choose happiness, I choose freedom. I choose the beauty that lives in me. I choose perfection and what life brings. I choose God in everything. I know joy, I know peace, I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything. I know God in
Please join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Creative geniuses, go forward and express yourselves.